Dear students, welcome to the science class. In the last class, we are discussing about the exercise questions of this chapter, that is nothing but force and pressure. Up to 4 questions we solved, we see the solution. Now today we are going to check the solution for the further questions. Before that, someone has a doubt in yesterday's class about the second question. That is nothing but, what is that second question? Second question is nothing but, give two examples of situation in which applied force causes the change in the shape of an object. We have to give two examples. You can give any example so that when you apply the force, when anything applies the force on those things, it should change its shape. Now, for example, if it is solid, it should change its shape to the power form. If it is a rectangular shape, it should become in the triangle shape. In that manner, we have to give examples. For that example, now given that the change of the shape of the spring, the change of the shape of the spring which is there in the seat of a bicycle. When we sit on the bicycle, the seat spring starts to move. And it is going to start to stretch out and compress and expand, compress and expand. Continuously it is changing its shape. That can be given as the example. In the same manner, when you take the rubber band, if I stretch it, rubber band is going to change its shape. Alright, rubber band is going to change its shape. In the same manner, when you take a bottle, water bottle, it is a plastic bottle. When you press hard it, when I squeeze it, press hard or squeeze it is going to change its shape. It is going to change its shape. It is going to become a wrapper. That means it is also going to change its shape. These type of examples can be given. This type of examples can be written in your answer. Right? Any example, but it should change its shape. Right? I hope this much is clear. Next question. Question number 5. Main question number 5. And it has 4 sub questions. The main question number 5 is nothing but, in the following situations, identify the agents exerting force and the object on which it acts. State the effect of the force in each case. Right? The following situations, identify the agents exerting force and the object on which it acts. State the effect of the force in each case. Right? We have to identify the exerting force, agent of the exerting forces. Now, before going to this example, I am going to give a simple example. Right? I have to move the table. How I am going to move the table? Either push or pull. How I am going to push it? By using my muscular force. Right? My muscular force is acting on the table. My muscular force which is acting on the table. My force, it is the agent, exerting force agent, and the object on which it acts. The object which on it is acting, my force, muscular force is acting on the table. Right? When I act, my muscular force acts on the table. What is happening to the table? Table starts to move. Table starts to move. At the start, table is in rest position. When I push it, it starts to move. That is nothing but it is change in the motion or change in the state of the motion. Right? In that case, we can say that in this situation, I can say that the agent which is exerting force is my muscular force. My muscular force exerting force on which it is exerting force on the table. In the same manner, what is happening to the table? Table is changing its state of the motion. Right? In this manner, we have to answer all these questions. So that first situation is squeezing a lemon between the fingers to extract its juice. Question number A is squeezing a lemon between the fingers to extract the juice. We can see that squeezing a lemon to extract its juice, we are going to squeeze it using our fingers, right, like this. Now while squeezing it, what we are doing, we are applying the force. We are applying the force on the lemon so that lemon exerts juice. Right, lemon exerts juice, or lemon gives us the juice. So that we are going to write answer for the first question, that is nothing but main question number 5, sub question A. That is, which the agents which are exerting force are the muscular force of the fingers. Agent object on which it is acting object on which it is acting, on which it is acting, on which it is acting. Lastly, state, effect on the state, effect on the state. What is acting to the state of the force? Effect on the force of the state. Right? We have to make this column. We can directly write in a single sentence. Right? For the understanding purpose, I am making the columns. Now, question number 8. What is squeezing the lemon between fingers? That is nothing but muscular force. Muscular force. Force of fingers. Right? Which agent is acting here? Muscular force of our fingers is acting on the what? It is acting on the object that is nothing but lemon. It is acting on the lemon. It is acting on the lemon. The muscular force of our finger, which is acting on the lemon to squeeze it. And what is the effect of that muscular force on the lemon? It is changing the shape of the lemon. First, it will be round one. Then it will be shrinked one, so that there will be change in the shape. Change in the shape. There will be change in the shape. Right? You can write it in a sentence. The muscular force of the fingers which is squeezing the lemon and which is acting on the lemon to change in the shape. It is going to change its shape. I hope this is clear. Right? Muscular force, lemon squeeze it. When you squeeze it, it is going to change its shape. Force acting is muscular, object which on it is acting is lemon. In the same manner, the shape is going to change. Right? Okay, question number B. Taking out paste from the toothpaste tube. Taking out the paste from the toothpaste tube. At the morning, you use the toothpaste. How are you going to bring out that paste which is present in the test tube? Toothpaste. We are going to apply the force on the toothpaste. We are going to apply our muscular force on the toothpaste. By applying the muscular force on the toothpaste, that paste is going to come out. The paste is going to come out. How it is going to come out? By the change in the shape of the toothpaste tube. Right? By the change in the shape of the toothpaste tube. So then I am going to write the answer is B is our muscular force. Our muscular force, that is nothing but we are going to apply our muscular force on the test tube, toothpaste tube. We are going to apply our muscular force on the toothpaste tube. We are going to apply force on it. So that what is happening to the toothpaste tube? It is changing its shape. It is also changing its shape. When we see the change in its shape, there will be a toothpaste is going to come out from the toothpaste tube. In the third question, question number 3. A load suspended from the spring while its other end is on a hook fixed to a wall. A load is suspended from a spring while its other end is on a hook fixed to the wall. Now the agent which is exerting the force here, now take the example, I am going to draw a diagram here. Let this be the wall and we are going to suspend a spring on this wall. We are going to suspend a spring on this wall and other end is on a hook fixed to a wall and a load is suspended from a spring. That means I am going to suspend, we are going to suspend load here. And we are going to suspend load here. Now, which one is going to act here? Which agent is going to act, and which is going to exert the force here? Which agent is going to exert the force here? The spring is going to exert the force, or the load is going to exert the force? Spring or load? Take the example for ourselves only. If you go and hang on a spring, what will happen? Spring starts to come downwards. Why? Because of our weight. Because of our weight is going to exert force on that spring, so that spring starts to move downward direction. In the same manner, the load which is suspended to this spring is going to exert this, which is going to exert the force on this spring. So that here the load is going to exert the force on which is going to exert the force on the spring. It is going to exert the force on the spring in downward direction. In downward direction. In downward direction. The load which is suspended to the spring is going to exert the force on the spring, so that spring moves towards the downward direction. What is happening to the spring here? Spring is changing its shape. Spring is changing its shape. It is also going to change its shape. Now question number D. An athlete making high jump to clear the bar at a certain height. An athlete making a high jump to clear the bar at a certain height. Athlete is running. He has to press the ground so that he can jump higher. Right? He can press to the ground so that he can jump higher. That means he is going to use his speed, and he is going to apply the force on the ground by using its speed. Right? When he applies the force on the ground, he starts to jump. Right? Without applying force on the ground, it is not possible to jump. So the athlete is going to apply the force, which is present in the form of muscular force. Which is present in the form of muscular force of the feet. Muscular force of the feet. And where is pressing those feet? Is pressing those feet on the ground. That means is applying the force on the ground. That is nothing but earth. So that we can write it as ground. Is applying the force on the ground. What is happening when he applies the force on the ground? In this direction is applying the force, in the downward direction, pressing those legs. What is happening is jumping in the upward direction. He is jumping in the upward direction. The actual force is in the downward direction, but is in jumping in the upward direction. That nothing but he is changing its direction. He is changing its direction. That is nothing but change in the state of the motion. That is nothing but the change in the state of the motion. Change in the state of the motion. Change in the state of the motion. I hope this much is clear. This is all about the fifth question. Then question number 5. Next we are going to see about the sixth question. See the sixth question. That is nothing but a blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron. A blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron while making a tool. How does the force due to hammering affect the piece of iron? Right? How does the force affecting the piece of iron? Right? Hot piece of iron will be in the welded form, so that is going to use the hammer. Blacksmith is going to use the hammer to give that iron a desired shape. He should hammer those things to give a desired shape. So for example, to make those kursis, he is going to use the iron and is going to hammer it. He is going to hammer it, so that is going to get the desired shape. So that the same question is going to come. Is the same? The question is the same as same. The question number 6 is nothing but a blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron. A blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron while making a tool. He is going to make a tool. Right? How does the force due to hammering affect the piece of iron? How does the force due to the hammering affect the piece of iron or piece of the iron? He is going to take the hammer. He is going to apply his muscular force. He is going to apply his muscular force through the hammer on that hot iron piece. Hot iron piece. When he applies his muscular force, the iron piece is going to get or is going to change its shape, and it is going to change its shape. When you apply the force on that iron piece, it is going to change its shape. Right? That is nothing but the answer for this question is for nothing but the muscular force of the blacksmith, which is acting on that iron piece to change its shape, so that he can get desired shape of that tool. We can get desired shape of that tool. For this answer for the sixth question is nothing but the muscular force. The muscular force of blacksmith. The muscular force of the blacksmith is acting on the what? Iron piece, so that iron piece is changing its shape. Iron piece is changing its shape, and the blacksmith is getting desired shape. He is getting desired shape. Right? To get the desired shape, blacksmith is using a what? Muscular power, muscular force on the what? Hot iron piece, so that is going to give his desired shape. I hope this is clear. Right? Next, seventh question is: an inflated balloon was placed against a wall. An inflated balloon. This will be the inflated balloon. That is nothing but the balloon which contains the air. Right? An inflated balloon was placed against the wall after it has been rubbed with a piece of synthetic cloth. Let this be the balloon and this will be the synthetic cloth. Right? It was found that the balloon sticks to the wall. What force might be responsible for the attraction between the balloon and the wall? What force might be responsible for the attraction between balloon and the wall? Now, if you take the seventh question, let's correctly see the seventh question. That is nothing but we have a balloon, we have a synthetic cloth, we have a wall. What happening when if I rub that balloon with a synthetic cloth? If I rub that balloon with a synthetic cloth and taking that balloon closer to the wall. When I take that balloon closer to the wall, balloon is sticking to the wall. This balloon is sticking to the wall. That means there is a force of attraction is acting between wall and this balloon. The force of attraction is acting in between wall and the balloon, because that balloon is sticking onto the wall. This is the procedure they are given. They are asked about the what force might be responsible for the attraction between the balloon and the wall. What force might be the responsible for the attraction between balloon and wall? What may be? If you remember correctly, while studying non-contact force, we came across the electrostatic force. That electrostatic force is nothing but it's a force of attraction or force of repulsion. If two charged bodies are there, they are going to repel each other. If one charged body, another is uncharged body, they are going to attract each other. That means when we rub the balloon with the synthetic cloth, this balloon is going to get charged. And the wall will be uncharged. This charged body is going to attract uncharged body, so that they are going to stick together. Because of that, the balloon is sticking to the wall. So that answer for the seventh question can be written as: when we rub the balloon with synthetic cloth, balloon is charged. Balloon is get charged and is attracting the uncharged body. It is attracting the uncharged body, that is nothing but the wall. The force which is acting here is electrostatic force. The force which is acting here is electrostatic force. Right now, this is clear. The charged body is going to attract uncharged body. The force of attraction is nothing but the electrostatic force. The charged body, uncharged body attraction, and charged body and charged body are going to repel each other. In the same manner, uncharged body and charged body doesn't attract each other, neither repel each other. This is the answer for the seventh question. Right? You should remember all the concepts. If the answer is not same as 9, it will be okay, but the point should be same. It should have the electrostatic force, that is nothing but charged body is going to attract uncharged body. And next, 8th question. Name the forces acting on a plastic bucket containing water. Name the forces which are acting on a plastic bucket containing water held above the ground level in your hand. Right? Discuss why the forces acting on the bucket do not bring a change in its state of the motion. Change in the state of the motion. That question number will be 8th one. Right? Let I am holding a bucket. I am holding a bucket in this direction, like this. I am holding a bucket in this direction, it is filled with the water. When I hold this bucket, we have to name the forces which are acting on this bucket, so that we can come to conclusion for this answer. That's telling that when we hold this bucket, the bucket doesn't moving, it doesn't changing its position. There are forces are acting on that bucket because we have suspended that bucket, so that the forces are acting on that bucket also. But which forces are acting and what is the effect of that force on that bucket, we have to tell. The question is, name the forces acting on a plastic bucket containing water held above ground level in your hand. Discuss why the forces acting on the bucket do not bring the change in its state of motion. We know that forces are acting on that bucket, but still bucket is not changing its state of motion. It neither moving nor falling, nothing is happening to that bucket. What may be the cause for that doesn't change its state of the motion? We have to tell it. Right? Before that, we have to name the different forces which are acting on that bucket. The first force will be, if you suspend that bucket, the first force will be the force of gravity, which is going to attract towards the ground. Anything which is suspended is going to come in the presence of that contact force, non-contact force, that is nothing but the force of gravity. First force. And the second force will be our muscular force. Second force will be our muscular force to hold this bucket. Muscular force to hold this bucket. It is holding like this or like this. They should suspend like this, or we are going to hold it like this. And either may be the situation. One is our muscular force, second will be the force of gravity. So that the two forces are acting here. Force of gravity from the earth. Second force will be our muscular force. Two forces which are acting are, first one is force of gravity, second one is our muscular force. Second will be our muscular force. Two forces which are acting on that bucket. Now next, what is cause for that bucket to doesn't change its state of the motion? Two forces are acting right, but why it doesn't changing its state of the motion? If we take the magnitude of the force of the gravity and magnitude of the our muscular force, if both are same, the net force will be how much? It will be 0. Why it will be 0? Because both the forces are acting in the opposite direction. Right? Gravity is pulling towards downward direction. Gravity is pulling downward direction. In the same manner, we are pulling in upward direction. We are pulling in upward direction, or we are holding in upward direction. Both the forces direction are in opposite direction. And the magnitude of the force which is acting on those things on the bucket is same. If the magnitude of that force which is acting on the bucket is same, then we can say that the net force will be how much? It will be equal to 0. It will be equal to 0. So that it doesn't changing the state of the motion. We can write the answer as the forces are acting in opposite direction. The forces are acting in opposite direction having the same magnitude, having the same magnitude, hence there is no change in state of motion. There is no change in state of motion. Right? I hope this is clear. Both the forces are acting in opposite direction and the magnitude is same. For that reason, net force will be 0, so that there will be no change in the state of the motion. Now next, ninth question. What is that? A rocket has been fired upwards to launch the satellite in the orbit. A rocket has launched to its orbit. The rocket is launched to has been fired upwards to launch a satellite. A rocket has fired upwards to launch a satellite in its orbit. Name the two forces acting on the rocket immediately after leaving the launching pad. They have to name two forces which are acting on that rocket immediately after leaving the launching pad. It is going to go in the upward direction. That may be there may be forces which are acting on that the forces which are acting on that rocket. So then we have to name those two forces which are acting on the rocket. What will be the two forces? I am going to name it as A and B. The first force, when it immediately launched from the launch pad, it goes in the above from the ground. If it is going above from the ground, there may be the force acting on which it will be a gravitational force. Right? Gravitational force is going to act on the rocket also, because gravitational force is going to act on the each and every object. If it is not present on the ground, if it is away from the ground, it is going to attract that rocket also. So their first force will be gravitational force. The first force will be gravitational force. Immediately, if it is a ground, if it is launching like this, it is going there. The gravitational force is going to pull this rocket towards it. First force. Second force, if rocket is traveling in the atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere, that means Earth's atmosphere contains air molecules. Air molecules is going to oppose the movement of the rocket. It is going to oppose the movement of the rocket. The any force which is going to oppose the movement of the objects is known as frictional force. Which is known as frictional force. That means the frictional force which is present in the air is going to oppose the rocket. So that second force will be what? It will be friction force. It will be friction force of air. Friction force of the air which is going to act on the rocket. First is pulling towards it, second one is opposing the movement of the rocket. These are the two forces which are going to act on the rocket after immediate launching of that rocket from the pad. Right. The next last question, 10th question. It is an MCQ. Now, when we press the bulb of a dropper with its nozzle, when you press the bulb of a dropper with a nozzle, if you remember, bulb will be like this. Dropper, it is used for the babies to put the syrup inside their mouth. So take that example. When we press the bulb of a dropper with its nozzle kept in water, air in the dropper is seen to escape in the form of bubbles. Air in the dropper is seen to escape in the form of the bubbles. Once we release the pressure on the bulb, water gets filled in the dropper. The rise of water in the dropper is due to, right? If you take the example of anything, if you take the example of dropper, when you take that dropper, when you press it, when you take the dropper in the cup, syrup, bottle, when you check that dropper, when you open that dropper or nozzle of that dropper, when you check that, there will be the formation of air bubbles inside that dropper, right? That dropper, air bubbles are nothing but they are going to clear the space for the liquid which is coming in the form of that syrup. It is going to clear that space. Now, which force is acting or which thing is acting that the level of that syrup is getting increased or the level of that water is getting increased? the level of the water is getting increased, the which pressure or which phenomena is acting on those things. If you see the options, first option is pressure of the water, second option is gravity of the earth, third option is shape of the rubber bulb, D option is atmospheric pressure. D option is atmospheric pressure. The pressure of water can be taken the example. No, it's not possible because we are pressing that bulb. If I am pressing that bulb, we are going to apply the pressure of the air molecules outside that bulb. When you open it, the water level rises. The water level rises. Why it level rises? Because of the atmospheric pressure. Because of the atmospheric pressure which is acting on the water, it making that level of the water to increase. What level of the water to increase come above. The atmospheric pressure which is present in the surroundings is going to act on that water. The water is going to rise in the bulb. So then, for answer for the 10th question is option D. Here your chapter is completed. If you have any doubts, you can ask. And I have completed with the exercise as well as I have completed with the chapter. I am going to give a PDF solutions for this chapter, exercise solution PDF in the WhatsApp group. Don't worry about those things. I am just explaining those things. In the next class, we are going to start with the next chapter. Up to that point, thank you. Take care.